The progressive reopening of schools to face-to-face learning commences countrywide this morning for grade 4, class 8 and form 4 reporting to their respective institutions.
Semetu alituambush, lakini sasa tutaenda tu chuo ama.
Education Cabinet Secretary, while overseeing the safe resumption of studies at Olympic Primary School in Kibra, which happens to be the largest primary school in the country, expressed his satisfaction in the levels of COVID-19 compliance to the reopening of schools directive despite the short 5 days notice.
I think we should be bold enough to continue to observe them for about 1 or 2 weeks before we decide as to whether we can risk having larger numbers. So for those parents who are unable to convince their children, I would like their children to listen very carefully that actually it is because of our great love for them that we want them to remain home for a shorter while we see what happens when just a smaller number is back at school.
Waende watafute pesa za kuwapatia kila mwanafunzi katika shule barakoa tatu. Zile zinaitwa reusable. Na pia waweze kuwa na sanitizers.
The CS has since directed teachers as well as school heads nationwide to keep tabs with pupils having pre-existing conditions and act as fast respondents to emergency cases.
During this period at the beginning, take time also to interact with them so that the anxious ones can be brought down to the level.
This as all institutions are required to link up with health facilities in the event an emergency presents itself beyond non-professional control.
Should there be an emergency, every parent and every teacher shall be a guardian for that time. We cannot wait until you finger the parent. This is our own African culture that unfortunately is dying. So I'm not worried if a child requires help, one of the teachers will automatically become the guardian and the parent.
Owing to the upsurge in numbers of teenage pregnancies since schools closed, the CS has firmly directed that learning goes on uninterrupted for the expectant students.
As we deal with the criminals, may I assure them that they have nothing to fear. They should come back to school. Teachers should be very, very empathic with them, giving them all the assistance. And when the time comes, they should be given the opportunity to go and give birth. And after winning, they shall come back and continue with learning.
The CS further made it clear that lack of school fees payment should not act as a barrier to the students accessing any learning institution. He further decreed that even having undergone through online classes, all students will pick up from where they left.
May I once again plead with our principals and head teachers to ensure that no child is sent home on account of school fees, both in the private and the public sector. So even if you make so much noise, if you send a child home because the child did not engage in online classes, that is criminal and we shall come for you. The fact that it's a private school does not protect you.
At various bus stations in Nairobi, students responded positively to the directive, however not in their large numbers as previous school resumption seasons.
This time around hakuna watoto wanaenda moja, ni kama wanaogopa, ni kama wataki kuwa wao ndio wa kwanza kutangulia. Bei tunalipisha tu ile yetu ya kawaida. Since morning hata watoto wenye tumebeba wa shule hata hawezi fika gari 5.
Semetu alituambush, lakini sasa tutaenda tu chuo ama. Sasa try tu. Mimi hata ni ngumu, siwezi hiyo ni mawe. Ni hard.
After 11 weeks of studies, students are expected to break briefly for the December holidays before resuming studies next year, ahead of the 2021 national examinations. Going forward, this will be the state of affairs at this among every other learning institution in the country, with the hope of safely reviving the education sector as we look forward to the gradual full resumption of learning. Ben Kirera, K24, Nairobi.